Well, hey, my friend. Welcome to Bloggers on Fire, the go-to podcast for bloggers who want to grow and monetize their blog. I'm so excited you're here. I'm your host, Melanie Ferguson. Well, hey, my friend. Welcome back to the podcast. I want to ask you a question. And I want to see if you are this person. Are you at a point in your business where you are dealing with more things that you have to do than time in the day to do them? Are you at a point where you're kind of hitting a plateau in your business where you feel like you just aren't making any progress? Are you feeling like you either are going to have to make a choice of cutting back or cutting some things out or hiring? And does the idea of hiring scare the little daylights out of you? Because it's so big and you're like, it costs money and I don't know how much and all the things. Well, this episode is for you because I'm going to talk about something I'm calling micromanagement. It's not like you think. It's not the traditional version of the word micromanagement, but hear me out. I want to share with you 9 ways, or these are just ideas that I personally have used to grow my business, move the needle forward without the commitment of hiring a full-time employee. So listen in. I have a couple of rules for when it comes to starting to hire for my business, and I want to share them with you. Hopefully, they will help you as well. But my number one rule is that you need to know before you grow. Know before you grow. If there is something in your business that you are like, oh, that part is just takes me so much time, or I don't even really, think I'm doing it right, and you just want to outsource that, I'm going to encourage you, my friend, to really just carve out some time to get to understand what it is you're handing off. You've got to know what it is that you're giving so that you know how to measure if they're doing a good job. I know at the beginning of my blogging career, I handed off my Pinterest because I had no idea what Pinterest was, how it worked. All I'd ever done was save recipes on there. I had no concept. And I'm telling you what, that was probably one of my biggest mistakes, except that I did learn that you do not outsource anything that you don't understand. Because of course you're going to grow at the beginning. If you hand off something like Pinterest to someone when you are just getting started and they start your account and they're running it for you, of course you're going to grow. You have nowhere to go but up. The true test would be if you had been doing Pinterest for years and were successful at it, understood how it worked, handed it off, and immediately you're going to know if it's going to take a nosedive or if it's going to actually grow in their hands. So I hope that makes sense. Know before you grow. Know before you grow your team. So the second thing I would recommend is to see if you can't, in just to the best of your ability, have it pay for itself. So it really shouldn't cost you to hire out anything. You should be able to know that if this person or this company does this one thing for you, it is going to pay back multiple fold. It is going to pay for itself. So that's not always the case, at least at the onset. Sometimes it takes a little momentum to go before it starts to pay for itself. But eventually, there should be a light at the end of the tunnel where this pays for itself. So those are my 2 kind of golden rules for this micromanagement concept. Okay, let me give you the rundown of the tasks or projects that that I started with for outsourcing for my business. And these are in no particular order, but I just wanted to put them out there for you for inspiration because a lot of times I've heard people say, well, what would I have them do? I don't know exactly what I would have an assistant do. Listen, my friend, if you don't know what you would have them do, then you don't need them. All right. You're not far enough in your business to need someone unless you know exactly what the task is you need them to do. You need to be able to have that task written out or in video form so that they can follow step by step exactly what you expect. You are not able to, again, inspect what you expect unless you put out those expectations first. So I started with, obviously, with blogging a website host. Now, at the beginning, I was with all of the companies. They're more affordable. It's a great place to start. But at some point, when you start gaining momentum on your page views, you need to consider hiring a personal host. This is typically an individual that you can reach out to if there are problems with your site, or you have questions, or you need a quick fix on your site. The second thing that I started outsourcing was post writing. Now, it was not writing my entire blog, or I just sat back and never wrote a post. I was feverishly writing a post a day, and I wanted to grow faster. So I hired out a category on my blog, which was recipes, for someone called a ghostwriter. Now, these people will take your style of writing, your concepts, your ideas, and do a post for you. I never had them automatically post. I always had them set it up and as a draft. And then I would go in every week, and it would take me about 30 minutes to go through it, make sure it was how I wanted it to look and sound, and then drop my images in it myself before finally posting. But it was such a, I'm not going to say time saver, because I was still doing all of my own other posting, but it was a way to double down and try to get that gain with other people's efforts. So you could outsource a specific category of posting on your site, or maybe you just want to double up and you want to do double what you're doing. Maybe you're posting once a week and you'd really like to post twice a week, and the only way you can conceivably do that would be to hire it out. Then maybe someone could do that second post for you. All right, a third idea is to have someone do your graphics. So these could be social media graphics. I think at the beginning, when I had these recipes on, it was recipe graphics. So, those really cute graphics that had like all the ingredients on it and a picture of the final recipe, and people could say, oh my gosh, it was kind of clickbaity, but someone else would create those for me. And then I would use them throughout my blog or my social media or email. So having someone design graphics for you. I know I had several companies reach out and offer to create graphics for certain posts where, they could do like a step-by-step with, instructions on it. And those do really, really well, especially if you're looking for backlinks. Graphics can be really a big deal for that. Another idea of something that I hired out was link dropping. So link dropping is something where someone specifically will go and take your blog links and drop them in specific groups that are related to that blog post topic. And it will just get your reach a little further. And that has to be done manually. And nobody's got time to do what all we do and go and to all of these groups and drop the link where it's appropriate. So this is kind of a great thing to do at the beginning if you're needing to increase your page views for maybe getting accepted to Mediavine or Journey, something of that nature. So link dropping is another one. And then the photography. You can hire a photographer to come even as little as once a quarter. Doesn't even have to be daily, weekly, monthly. It could be once a quarter that you hire a photographer to come out to your home and shoot for you. And then what I did was I had them, I set up everything in certain areas that I felt like had really good lighting and had all of my decor pieces, my outfits for me to change really quickly, and everything ready to go so that it helped cut down on the time that I needed to spend with the photographer. And then it was such a good investment because you have fresh headshots once a quarter. You have pictures of your final projects or your featured image things that you want for posts. And you can always go back to old posts and update those with new images. So if you even just hired a photographer, a professional photographer in your local area 4 times a year, it would make such an impression, such a it would be just such a good investment for your blog. And I'm going to get better at doing this too. So I love, love, love that one. Now, if you are doing at video and you are doing it anywhere, really, but especially YouTube, there are specific companies that will edit video for you. Now, I hired an individual one time to help me with video, um, and it it did not work out. But a lot of times you have to kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince. And I'm telling you, with all of these positions, that can be the case. But again, on video, you really need to know how to edit it yourself before you can look at it and decide aesthetically, is this the look that I want for my videos? And I feel like once you find that perfect fit, you are going to free up so much time. So I am going to look into this more again for myself. It was just something that over time I got a little better at and a little better at and a little better at, that I felt confident enough that I would rather do it myself than juggle, sending the footage to someone else and back and forth. But there are several companies out there that are super affordable now that will edit your videos for you, especially if you're trying to do, say, YouTube once a week and you just really need a really clean, edited video. They will do that for you. Okay, so on to number 7, and this is pins. Pin design, pinning, whatever has to do with Pinterest. This would be something that you could outsource. Again, I did it in the beginning, didn't know what I was doing, made that mistake a couple different times. I tried feverishly to outsource this behemoth called Pinterest, and decided eventually I would just learn it myself and figure out what it is I was trying to hire out. And then it wasn't so scary. I'm just telling you, if you will take these things and just take a little bit of time every weekend, every evening, whatever it takes till you are comfortable with them before you hand them off, you will be so much happier. And it's just a wiser way to outsource. So you can outsource pen designs, and I will drop a link here for Carly Campbell's pen designs. If you are wanting to do something like that, I've used her pen designs for years. Now I have a pretty good pen design that I keep with on all my pens, so I don't vary it a whole lot. But if you're just getting started, you may want to try some of these and just see what works best for you first. And then as far as management goes, pinning is something that you have to get into your own groove. I have decided a long time ago, there is no perfect way to pin. Every single guru has a different method because honestly, it's different for everyone. Whatever works for you may not work for the next person, and it may not work for their niche. It may not work for their time zone. It may not work for their area. It may not work for their avatar. You have to just try and see what works. But once you do, you can very easily train someone else, tell someone else. And my favorite thing with a lot of these things, minus photography, is that you can almost train anyone to do these things. So if you get really good at each of these things, you can teach your teenager to do them. You can teach your local, person in town to be able to help you with this. And then you can meet with them like once a week. And it's so much better. Now, on these social media platforms, if you're trying to outsource, say, your Facebook or your Instagram or something like that, I just wouldn't. The entire concept behind these is to create relationship and community. And that is what you are building there. That is exactly what you are building there. And there are so many tools, my friend, that you can use these days to make up for anything that you don't have time to do. So I will drop a link down here for some of my favorite tools, but I mean, with the repurposing tools and the editing tools, there is no really excuse for not being able to put together a solid plan for being on your socials that doesn't suck the life out of you. So think about that before you decide to pay for someone, because I could use tools for a total of maybe under $100 a month and get the same thing done on my own as having to outsource it and pay $100 a week. Okay. So this is about not only saving your time, but saving your money. So on those management things with social medias, including Pinterest, I recommend you know what it is first and then decide, are you utilizing tools to your benefit? Are you doing what you could at the beginning to save that money, save that headache, and get yourself moving the needle forward? All right, 2 more ideas for you, my friend, and these are optional depending on whether you utilize these in your business or not. But number 8 is events. If you host any type of events, you may want to hire help for that. So I had started a craftathon that I did every single quarter, and it was a huge undertaking. I was juggling 54 other souls and advertisers and just it was a lot. So I did ultimately hire help for that event, and it was a godsend. It was amazing. But the event basically paid her wages. So it was definitely a win-win. And I would recommend that if you are handling live sales every week or anything like a workshop that you know is going to be ongoing and you've got to handle people's PayPals or people getting into certain groups or getting taken out of certain groups, that you definitely consider hiring someone to help you specifically with that project. And this is a case where you don't need a full-time assistant. You just need someone for that specific project. All right. And then that reminds me that if you do have a membership, this falls into the same category. I know that I had hired someone specifically to help me with a membership, and this person made sure that questions were answered within the group. This is kind of like, you have the group moderators that you will have in your free groups. Well, this is for a paid membership group. They will help you take pieces of content and put them into your guides, have them all categorized and organized. That was just little detail things that really sucked the life out of me. So it was nice to have someone who loved doing that do that for me. And then, of course, the in and out of the group based on whether they had paid their membership fees or not. So it is super helpful to have an assistant for an event or a paid membership group. All right. So number 9 is this podcast. So there are 2 ways you can get started on something that you have zero concept about. Number 1 would be to, yes, dive right in, hire it out. Number 2 would be to take a course. Take a course from a legitimate source that you trust and know is going to get you to the place you need to be with that specific thing. So for podcasting, I decided to take the hiring route, and I did invest in a podcast manager right from the get-go. And so that was super helpful for just getting this podcast off the ground. But eventually, over time, I decided to definitely learn myself what it took to keep it going. And so now I actually handle the entire process myself. And it wasn't as scary or as big as I thought it would be. But again, right there at that beginning, if you were just getting started with something that you have no concept on, maybe it is Pinterest and you're like, I just can't start that by myself, then take a course. Take a course because you either have the ability to hire someone and then not know if they're doing a good job or not, or take a course. And I did know enough about the podcasting and what they were having what they were doing for me to know if she was doing a great job. But these are my 9 ideas for you. Just take the ones that will help you the most. I am going to drop a link here for all the tools that I love, as well as the website host that I use in case you're interested. And I just want to encourage you, start small. It doesn't have to be this huge undertaking to hire out help. And I love this idea of micromanagement. You are getting your business managed on a tiny level. So try this, my friend. I hope it helps you. I hope it helps you grow and move the needle and get over a plateau or cut back on your overwhelm. So until next time, stay creative.